Hey kiddos, so today we are going to continue the math notes that we started yesterday. So yesterday we talked about place value and we talked about how to read a number, and where each digit lives will tell you its value. So we are going to continue with that, and I'm going to show you 4 different ways to write that number. So underneath the page you did yesterday, you're going to write ways to show a number. So we're going to write ways to show a number. And I'm going to draw cute little arrows. And make my show a little fancy. All right, so now you're going to take the rest of the space that you have and you're going to make a large rectangle. And you're going to divide it in half going straight up and down, and you're going to draw it in half going across as well. So we're going to go vertically and horizontally across the page. So it's going to look like a 4 square. Okay, and we're going to do 4 different forms. So we're going to have our base 10 form. When we do base 10, we're talking about showing it using blocks. So that's something you should be very familiar with. Coming up from kindergarten all the way through 3rd grade, this is something you should be familiar with. Hopefully we're not using a lot of blocks when we're doing our math, but if we need to, we can express it in base 10 form. The next form we have is standard form. And this is the form in which you see numbers regularly. Everywhere you go and you see numbers on signs, you see them in the grocery stores, you see them in your math book, you see them on signs, you see them in standard form, okay? And then our next one would be word form. And this would be how you would write the number out in words. So you might have questions that'll say, what number is this? And it'll give it to you in word form, and then you are going to translate that into standard form. And then the last form that we have, which is very important, especially when you are working with larger numbers and you are working with things like regrouping and multiplication and division with larger numbers. If you know the number in expanded form, it's really going to help you understand the value of the digits in that number, and it's really going to help you make sure that you're making correct estimations when you're coming up with your answers. So expanded form is the final form. So base 10, if we were going to take a look at our base 10, if I was going to look at, I'm not going to show this entire number in base 10 blocks, because showing 3 million, I don't have enough paper to show you 3 million. So I'm going to stick with something small. I'm just going to stick with this 217 portion, and that 217 is going to look really simple. So if I were to take 217, I'm going to look at that 200, and I'm going to do 2 hundreds blocks. Those are the flat ones. They look like big flat squares. So that would be 200. And then if I'm going to show the 10 and 17, I'm going to use one long, skinny 10 block. And then to show my 7, I am going to show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 single blocks. So this is my 200, this is my 10, and this is my 7. So you can see if I put it all together, it'll give me 217. In standard form, our number is simply going to look just like you see it here, but you're going to take it out of its houses. Okay, so you're going to do 3 million. I'm going to put that comma because I said million. 3,496,217. Okay, to do that in word form. So now when I go into word form, everything I just said when I was writing this number, I'm now going to put into words. So I'm going to write 3. I said million when I said that comma, so now I'm going to write 3 million. Okay, I'm going to put my comma. 496. 496, and it's 1,000. Comma, so I want to separate these from each other. 200. 17. Okay. Now notice I didn't use the word and when I wrote my number. I didn't say 217. Because when you are reading a number and you say the word and, it actually implies that there's going to be a decimal point, and we want to get out of that really bad habit. So don't use the word and when you're writing your word form, because then again, it does imply that there's a decimal point, and it's going to change the value of the number that you've written. So no and. Let's put a little note that says that, okay? No and. Okay, let's make sure that we remember that. We're not going to add the word and when we write our number unless there is a decimal point. All right, so expanded form, that one for this number is going to be really big because now we have to take each digit. Okay, and you guys remember from 3rd grade that a number, any digit, we have 10 digits, 0 through 9. And those 10 digits make any number that you can possibly think of. So where you put your digit when you write a number will determine its value. Okay, so we're gonna come up here, okay, value, that's really gonna come into expanded form. You need to make sure you show that number's value. So I'm gonna start with 3 million. Okay, 3 million plus, and I'm going to take each one of these separately. So I'm not going to put 496,000 together. I'm going to separate it. I'm going to write 400,000. And you can always tell how many zeros it's going to be based on its place. So notice I started with my 4. And I made all the rest of the rooms of the house 0. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So these zeros are holding the place of these numbers here. So now I have 400,000 plus, this is going to be 90,000. It's in that tens place, within the 10,000, or within the thousands house, it's in that 10. So 10,000, so that becomes 90,000. Plus 6,000. Plus, and now again, I'm going to take that 217, I'm going to break it apart. So I'm going to have 200 plus 10 plus 7. So now I have taken this huge number and I've shown its value in expanded form. So expanded form shows the value of your number. So hopefully you were able to get all of this done. I know it's a lot of information, so if you need to pause, rewind, go back, I have a picture of this next to this video on your Google slide for Math for Today. So here you go. Enjoy. And I will see you tomorrow with the next activity. And if you have any questions, shoot your teacher an email.